Evening YouTube. Here we are doing our Q&A in a lovely setting in one of the customers' gardens. If you're not familiar who we are, I'm Dave.
I'm Stevie.
I'm Dad.
And I'm Son.
Welcome to D&J Projects. So then, in the last video we put out on the comments for you to leave us some questions. Any questions, we would answer them. We've got a few weird and wonderful ones. And yes, there's some serious ones. Serious.
You guys should know by now, we are serious at D&J Projects.
So here's the first one, and it's aimed at Stevie. On the last job he did, it's from Albert Hall. How come the shed sits halfway into next door's garden?
I'll overlay a clip of what this guy is actually on about, and it may look like the shed was sitting into the neighbour's garden, but I can assure you guys, it definitely was not. The garden stepped back ever so slightly, and I'll also overlay that so you guys can see that's where we placed that small feather edge panel. I'm not sure if you guys can remember, but it's on the screen now, so the shed definitely was not in next door's garden.
Next question from Gary Sides. He always comments, he's a loyal OG.
Big up, Gary.
He's a loyal OG of the channel. He's put, for both of us, what is your dream cars? You go first.
That's a good one. Right, so my dream car, supercar this is, it is a Lamborghini Huracan. Now, it used to be a Nissan GTR. But seeing as the YouTube money's coming in, I've upped it a little bit.
Mine's a little bit different. My ideal car would be the new Defender, murdered out, blacked out to the nines. I love that, I love that. Probably end up getting one. My dream supercar, probably Lamborghini Aventador. Love them, absolutely. Not practical, but absolutely love them. Lovely car.
I'm only joking about that YouTube money as well, guys. Don't be getting in the comments.
This is a question for Stevie again from CF. Is Big J Jizzle a long lost relative from Toby Jizzle from Sidemen? I ain't got a clue what I'm even on about. I bet Steve will explain
My
that.
dad won't know who these guys are and who these chaps are, so I'll put a picture of that chap here, and then I'll put a picture of Big J here, and you tell me if they look familiar and if they look like they're relatives. Long lost relatives.
But is that the reason why you call him that?
It's not the reason why I call Big J Jizzle. I just give him a new nickname every time I see him. So there's always something, but Big J Jizzle is sticking in my head a lot, and I quite like that one.
Next question, Mark Green. I like this one. He's talking about theft of panels. So how do you stop panels being slid up in the concrete post? Right, it's dead simple, this one is. Get an offcut, a feather edge boarding. It's slightly like that. It's like a...
Slice of a pizza.
Like a... slice of a pizza. It's triangle shape. It's feather edge. So you slice a little tiny bit of feather edge. We've got loads.
Wedge.
Yeah, it's a wedge.
It's a wedge.
It's a wedge. So we've got loads of them. We give them to people. All you do, you slide them into behind the panels where the lats are, and as you pull them up, it tightens so you can't get them panels out. It's a simple fix. Or you put at the bottom gravel board clip, and then you can screw them down into the gravel board if you want. Totally up to you. But cheapest, simplest way is just get the wedge behind the panel and stick it in, and you won't be able to slide them bad boys up. Another question for probably both of us. Joe Watkins, can the panel master do different sizes? Obviously you haven't watched all of our videos, but we'll explain. Yes, it can. It can do from 6x6, 6x5, 6x4, 6x3s, and it can even do 6x2s. We'll never ever do 6x2s on it, but I spec the machine up to do 6x2 panels. So the answer to that question is yes.
In all honesty as well, that panel master can pretty much do any size panel up to a 6 foot. So if you've got a panel that's say 5.5 foot, it's not something we would do because we don't get as many people trying to buy that size panel. But if someone wanted, say 35.5 foot panels, we could actually set that panel master up to that size because the guns move and the rails move. Those rails and those guns are placed wherever we want them. So it can actually make any size that we want it to, up to the 6 foot.
This is a question that's been asked by quite a few. This has been asked by Joe Watkins, Ed Spink and Graham Mackley about the flats in the back of our yard.
Quite a hot topic.
The flats in the back of the yard, they've been there since day dot, ever since I can remember. And rumour is that they got condemned because of the stairwells. The stairwells were 150 mil out, and because of fire regulations, they got condemned. So they've never ever done anything with it. And as of me buying them, the land's not big enough. If you Google Earth it, the land's not big enough for us. I'd love to. It'd be ideal because we were just over the train line and over the lean. But yeah, I think they've passed hands a few times. I know it's been sold a few times. At the minute, I think someone owns it, so I don't know what they're going to do with it. But yeah, I can't buy it. The land's not big enough. If I did buy it and I knocked it down, and it's been like that for years. It looks like a scene out of video game like Call of Duty or something. I think someone put in the comments.
Like a derelict building.
Yeah, it's just a derelict.
It's a hot topic in the comments every time we show a video with that in the background. Put it that way.
Another question from the same guys. How far do you guys travel? To be fair, Nottingham based. Purely the reason we've got enough work in Nottingham not to travel out of Nottingham. When I first set up, I used to travel to London. I used to box in fire sprinklers for a company. When I first set up, we used to do that, so we used to travel all down London and everywhere else doing that. Now, we're a bit more established. We don't need to travel outside of London. So yeah, we spend most of our time in Nottingham.
But not to say in the future that we might not expand this D&J brand. Who knows?
Another good one here from Karen Patel. Do you have any tips for cutting gravel boards, as I'm a DIYer?
It's a good question.
Going to buy the gravel boards and concrete posts from a supplier anyway. We offer this service ourselves. So what we do, they buy the gravel boards, panels and posts from us, and then they'll come back with a measurement and we cut the gravel board to size and make the panel to size. If the company doesn't do that service, you can simply get a little angle grinder, 9-inch angle grinder, score it both sides, turn it over, score it the other side, break it and then cut through the steels. You can perfectly do it with an angle grinder if it's only 1 or 2 cuts. So to answer your question, but I prefer if you went to your supplier and asked them because you'd get a better cut, I think. And it'll be a lot easier for you. Right, another question from Can't Be Arsed. I don't know where it got that name from. Oh, yeah.
You guys come up with some crazy usernames, I'm telling you.
How long have you been doing this work, lads? Right, I'll pass it on to Stevie first.
Right, so if any of you guys watched me and my dad on Joe Everest, the Fencing Experts podcast, a little Q&A that we did. I say a little one, it was around about 3 hours long. You would know that I started for D&J, this business, my mum and dad's business, in January this year. So I'm probably 6 months into doing this type of work. I've probably done fencing for the past 4 years on the weekends with my uncle, so I was sort of learning my trade there as well. But when it comes to hard landscaping side, say drop crossings, tarmac driveways, 6 months really. But obviously I'm learning off my dad every time we do one, hopefully to be able to do it by myself in the future when my dad does take that step back and decides he wants to sit in the office a little bit longer.
And as for me, I was probably in my 20s. My background is civil engineering, working on the roads, building sites, brickies labourer, all the way up to where I am. A machine driver, HGV driver, picked all these skills up. That's basically, I've been doing it, like giving my age away. 25 plus years I've been, that's my background. Before that, I started out leaving school, I was a baker. I did that for a year.
Would any of you believe that? A baker?
So yeah, good question. Very good question.
From baking cakes and bread to hard landscaping, eh?
Question 2 for Can't Be Arsed. I love that. Has it always been a family business? Right, yes, because I set the business up. So yeah, it's always been a family business. It always will be a family business. It'll be passed on to all my children. So yeah, it's a family business. I haven't bought it off anyone. We established it. It's this third question from this guy or girl. Stevie, will you ever find the time to find a bird and not just a swan?
Nah, guys. I am actually engaged to Charlie. So you may have heard of Charlie's name in previous videos. If not, here is a picture of me and Charlie right there, happily engaged. So all of you ladies stay away, because trust me, she's an hard one.
And I think he's punching above his weight, to be honest, but there you go.
I agree.
Because Charlie's lovely, she's lovely. Absolutely love her to bits. Can't wait for her to join the family and to be a wife.
We've actually been together as well, to carry on to that conversation, for 9 years. So we're actually 9 years in, guys. Don't say we're not dedicated either, because look at that on my finger. I've done that setting you guys up on this tripod, and let me tell you, it's absolutely killing me right now.
Nick Perkins, his question is, if you use inch battens and 1/2 inch feather edge, what stops the panels from rattling around in a 2-inch slot? What stops the panel from rattling around in a 2-inch slot? The batten at the top is 2 inch on its side. When the feather edge is lapped, it builds it out. So yeah, at the top of the panel, it's 2 inch. So you use 2B1, and this pure weight of the panel holds it down in place. So that stops it from rattling. And if you wanted to go that extra bit, as we talked about earlier, you can use the little wedges behind, wedge them in, and that'll stop it from rattling and stopping anyone thieving the things. Because where we come from, no one feeds panels. I don't know where you lot are from.
Yeah. We had a comment about that recently, about putting gate hinges upside down so that no one can take the gates off. It doesn't really happen for us, guys.
Next question from Harvey Sim. What tools do you guys use? Power tools, Ryobi. I've got a lot of steel tools, micro diggers, power barrows. Obviously you see the grab a lot. And tools for fencing.
Because it's not a specific question on a certain exercise or job. It's a little bit hard to explain and say what we actually use. But fencing, post hole shovels, rafters, rakes, all sorts, guys. Whatever you think you would need for that specific job, then just take it. It's better to have it on site than to not have it and need it.
The next question is from Darren Quarterman, and I think it's aimed at the 2B1 batten style fencing, the modern slats going that way. Is that roofing batten? No, it's not roofing batten. It's regulated, tannalized battening we have made especially to do the job. It is actually 2B 3/4 inch. I'll get Stevie to put the dimensions of it in the screen. We'll get Berna and she'll give him that, and he'll put the dimensions on the screen. And it's actually, it's beveled and all, isn't it? Yeah, it's beveled as well. So yeah, it's not roofing batten. It does look like roofing batten what we use on the back of the panels, on the normal feather edge panels, but they're not roofing batten either. The thing with roofing batten, we have had roofing batten stained up for us before, but it always gets that writing on it, and the writing comes through, so it's no good for what we need. So I hope that answers your question. This question's aimed at the video that went out where Stevie and Big J did, and it was, what size posts are they?
They were 4x4 green tannalized posts at 8 foot tall.
So I hope that answers your question. Right, Kevin Nye. This one's aimed at me about my birthday. Was it a special birthday? No, it wasn't a special birthday. You guys are trying to guess my age. I'm going to leave you guessing. I'm not going to tell you, but no, it wasn't a special birthday. So I hope that answers your question.
How old do you guys think my dad is?
We've asked this before. I'm not telling them.
He might not tell you, but have a guess in the comments below. This may help or may not help. I am 28 years old. Have a guess in the comments.
I didn't have a heavy paper round either. Right then guys, I hope we get this right. It's Beacon Property. I'll answer this one, and I think it's aimed at Sunday's video that's just gone out. What are your feelings on leaving the post square at the top on fencing? All our posts are pre-treated, and we don't tend to cut them. If we do cut them, the cut end goes down and we treat that end. Where we can, we'll put post caps on, because the post caps will rot first, and it does protect the wood. The wood still has to breathe as well. It's like a straw, a post is. It sucks up from the bottom. It'd be hard to believe, but any rain that does go down, it'll go right down through the bottom of it. So when I first set up, I used to chamfer the posts off. I don't know, you tell me in the comments what you do. Do you chamfer them off? Do you put post caps on, or do you leave them? I've gone back to a few of my jobs which I've done 15 years ago, and the posts are still all right, the ones I haven't chamfered. So I don't know. I don't know if it depends what area you're in, what the weather's like as well. But yeah, leave a comment. We'll see how many people chamfer the posts off, put post caps on, or just leave them square. But yeah, good question.
I hope you guys are enjoying this Q&A that me and my dad are doing as well. If you are, why not like this video? Let's aim for 1,000 likes, guys. And if you're brand new around here, subscribe for all the new content that is coming your way.
This is personal preference. This is aimed at Stevie. This is Shades 2. I love these names, Shades 2. Do you think it would be nicer to have the panels in front of the posts in a continuous? I'll answer as well what I think, my thoughts, but this will be Stevie's thoughts.
So with that particular job, guys, that is exactly how the customer wanted it. So she wanted it sort of like a framed fencing style. So you would have your post, a bit like what you can see behind us. You can still see these posts, guys, and then the panels, then the post, then the panels. The customer wanted it panel, post to replicate what she had before. On a previous job, in a previous video, if you guys haven't seen it already, we put battens across every single post, so all you could see was the actual battens. This particular job, guys, as you guys already know by now at D&J Projects, whatever that customer wants, that customer will get. We will always offer our advice and say how we think it should be done, but if that customer wants that specific style, then we just give that customer that specific style.
My thoughts on it, yeah, I like the continuous look, but I'm maybe a bit biased. I like them panels when they're slid into the concrete posts. I like that look. I do, really do. It looks nice.
They do look good like that as well, guys. I'll post a picture of those panels in between two concrete posts to show you what my dad's on about. With a smooth gravel board as well, that's when they look really, really nice.
Yeah. Right, next question from Abzi. When's the concrete crusher coming?
All right, well, have you bought us one?
I've got a concrete crusher.
Fun fact.
It's not what you guys would think a concrete crusher looks like. It's a tiny little crusher. We bought it to Crystal Posts, the surplus posts.
Way back as well, guys. Like a good few years ago now. So
yeah, I've had it 5 years, and it only comes out every now and again when we've got a bit of spare time, which, you know, we don't have no spare time, so it ain't come out. I will get it out just to show you guys. I might even sell it because I don't think we use it enough, and probably one of you lot could put it to some use. If anyone does want a little crusher, we'll get it out. We'll do a little demo on it and show people. And if anyone wants to make me an offer on it, then obviously I might sell it, because I think we've outgrown it. It's a tiny little thing, definitely.
There's no use for it for us now then, guys. It's not big enough really for what we need.
A question from Abzi. Have you thought about buying another concrete block, to help with the infrastructure of the yard?
It's a good idea, guys, I'd say. My dad may have a different input on this, I would say, but it's a good idea. But at the exact same time, we utilise that block by using the last remnants of the concrete out of the concrete machine. We're not actually filling up the concrete machine to fill that block. We're just using the very last bits of the concrete. So it's costing us, but it's not costing us as much, because it's just the last bit that gets chucked away anyway. So 2 blocks, obviously double the product, but at the same time we'd have to then spend money on concrete and limestone to fill that block. As of right now, it's just the last bits, the scrap bits of concrete and cement that we was going to chuck away anyway. You reckon that's about right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's bought for, to be honest. I was sick and tired of the lads wasting that last bit of concrete and bits and bobs that were swept off the floor. So yeah, it was bought to utilise every little bit. So we weren't chucking it back on a heap and paying to get rid of it or crushing it ourselves. So yeah, Stevie's bang on with that. I don't think we actually need 2 of them. I think the amount we've done in 2 months, 3 months, another 2 or 3 months, we'll have had most of our bays done. And then basically we'll just stockpile them. We'll carry on doing it and stockpiling them and just building infrastructure around D&J Projects yard. So selling them and building them to sell, probably 2 or 3 would be ideal, but
of course
we're not building them to sell. We will sell them if people want to buy them, but like Stevie says, bang on with that. Obviously I've trained him well. He's moving into my boots nicely. Yeah, that's what it was bought for. It's basically bought for the waste, isn't it? Yeah, just put a waste in. So his next question is, can we have an update on the machine?
That's a good question, because there's a few of you asking about that machine. Trust me when I say we want it just as much as you guys want to see it.
I believe it's coming end of July. I want it as much as Steve, the lads want it as much as that. We want it, obviously, the first place we're doing it is bring it to you guys in the channel. We'll show you, we promised you a review when we get it. It's gonna be stickered up or vinyled up, wherever part of the country you are. We're gonna have our logos on it. And I've even toying with the idea of getting the windows tinted on it. But who knows, yeah. but you'll be the first ones to know about it as soon as it lands, because the video will be out. I don't know who's left this one, but we'll answer it. Thought on trade prices going higher and higher. Do you think they'll ever come down again? The way wood is at the minute, and all materials, they're just going through the roof. I can't understand why. We did speak about this with Joe Everest for a little bit, because in America it's exactly the same, so it's exactly the same all over the country.
Someone is being a little bit too greedy at the top of the tree. Let's be honest, guys, we know it's all about money, but it can't be like that forever. It surely can't be like that forever.
No, someone's racketeering on it. I don't think there is a shortage. It's slowly filtering through, guys. I do believe it'll come back down because people are going to be stuck with wood and not going to be able to sell it. The same with building materials, so just hang in there.
If you're in the trade, guys, trust me, it can only get better.
Yeah.
It can only get better, guys. Just hang on there.
Just hang in there. Next question is, when we're buying wood, do we buy it on inflation? So if the wood price is going up, do we stockpile it, or do we buy it as and when? Yes and no. If we could buy it at the right price, we would buy it. But because of shortage of wood at the minute, we can't get it. We're just like any other supply, we cannot get wood. We could have 3 or 4 Arctic loads a month if we could get it, but at the minute we can't. So we're buying it as we're putting our orders in, and they're on backlog. So yeah, we're getting it as and when we can. We do feel for every one of you out there who is in the trade, because we're struggling just as much as everyone else. You may see massive stockpiles in that yard, but believe me, it's
not without fighting either, guys. We're fighting to get what we've got as well.
It's a massive struggle. It is a massive struggle in a minute, and we do feel for you lot out there. And we feel for the customer as well, having to pay that higher price for stuff. We feel for every one of you out there, traders and customers. But yeah, another good question. Wilson, will you sell your merch online as well as the shop?
You know what? I've not told my dad this either, but for the past few days, all I keep thinking about is the merch. And you know what, I actually mentioned to my dad about a week or two ago about making a jumper as well, because obviously we've got the mug, we've sort of got the ball in motion for that mug, cup, however you guys call it. But I actually mentioned to my dad as well, so like a clothing line as such, not clothing line like Nike, Adidas or anything along them lines. I just mean a few jumpers, a few t-shirts, not like workwear like what we're wearing now, but just something with a nice fancy logo. Maybe in the future that will happen as well, but if we ever do the merch in that style, I think the right thing would be to do it online. It's not just going to be in the shop at the unit, because 99.9% of you guys on YouTube, you're not from around where we are, so we don't expect you to travel all the way to Nottingham to buy a cup or a jumper. Of course, it will be online. We'll send it out to you, and that will be pretty much it, guys. So yes, it will be online. But let us know, guys, in the comments if jumpers, t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, anything like that, something you guys would be interested in. Just let us know in the comments, and it's something me and my dad will be able to sort out.
Yeah, we'll put it in place for you guys. Obviously, what we don't want to be doing, we don't want to be stuck with a load of jumpers and hoodies and everything else, which are just going to sit on the shelves.
Yeah, and we also don't want to force it upon you guys. Like, we don't want to make all of this gear for you to feel like you have to buy it. Of course, you're probably not going to feel like that, but at the same time, we don't want to be throwing it all at you guys for you to spend your hard-earned money. We know how hard it is to earn cash in these day and age, so just let us know in the comments what you think, and we can probably sort something out.
Yeah, we'll put it in place for you lot. Ronnie Ward, good question. How many members of staff is there?
That's a good question.
There's 10. We normally go up in summertime to about 12. Wintertime, tend to thin down a little bit.
Core of the company is always there though, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's people that have been there from day dot. Obviously my dad, my mum pretty much, me in the background, but then there are the people like the Blake, Jamie, Jordan. Obviously you've got Maureen in the shop who's been there from day dot pretty much as well. But there are staff in there that are sort of bedding their way into the core of the company, and we absolutely love that because it is a big family business. They may not be blood relative, but we feel like they are part of the family as well.
They're all D&J family. They're all D&J family.
We all bleed this blue.
So yeah, that's a good question. I hope that helps.
That was a good one, Ronnie.
His other question is, how long have you had the business for? I set it up myself. I started with a little Berlingo. Steve will put the little tiny Berlingo van up on screen now. That's what I started with. There was me and Stevie's cousin who used to go out and do little jobs, and that's how I started. So company's been going for 8 years, but yeah, I started it off. But I will bring a video out when we hit a goal of so many subscribers of how I started, and I'll take you around where I started and where the business was established from. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
So make sure you subscribe, guys, if you haven't already.
John Thompson, this is a good question. I think he might be a HGV driver.
Not a van driver, because you all get a bit touchy when I say van, when I'm talking about a lorry.
How do you keep your working hours and driving hours and regulations? That's a good question. It is very hard. The clips you see so many clips. I'm not driving all day. I'm literally not driving all day. I physically can't go over my driving hours. I work as well, so like we're on a job now. I've driven to the job and the wagon's parked up. So basically, wagon's on break.
And the drive from the yard to this job is probably less than 5 minutes.
And we do a lot of the pickups on the way to the jobs and a lot of pickups on the way back from the job. So as in driving hours, it's physically hard to go over your driving hours. And to put it on breaks, I always break. I do 4.5 hours and then put it on my 45-minute break, and then I finish my remainder of my day off. So yeah, I'm not driving the wagon 24/7, so I can't go over my driving hours. When Stevie does pass his, we'll share the responsibility, and we definitely won't be going over our hours. So yeah, good question. I hope that answers it. James Swan, have you both always worked for D&J? If not, what other jobs and trades before? We have covered this a little bit. I haven't always worked for D&J. I set D&J up, so I set D&J up 8 years ago. Jobs before, I've worked for various companies, mostly on the road, civil engineering, council, same on the road, civil engineering. I've got a lot of my licence and machinery work. I used to work at McIntyre's in a foundry up to the age of about 20. So I did a lot of machine work there. I used to charge a furnace to the age of about 20. And then I worked for Syston Highways, and that's my first job on the roads. All the way through AK, Murphys, AMH. Some of you guys will know these, some of you won't. When I left school, like I said earlier, I was a baker. You won't believe that, but yeah, I was a baker. And up to present day where I am now, MD of D&J Projects. Steve?
And myself, when I left school, guys, obviously I went to college. Fine tight, it really wasn't for me, so I took a little 6-month internship at the corner shop round the corner from my mum and dad's house. I was there for around about 6 months, and then from there I joined Nottingham City Council to become a gardener, and I was probably there 9 years up until this January when the time came and I joined my mum and dad's business, D&J Projects.
Question from Russ Ferguson. What made you change from the roads to the empire you have now, and how did it all start, and what keeps you motivated and pushing through where you are today? What made me leave the roads? What it was, I used to do the jobs at weekends with me and Stevie's cousin. We got that much work at weekends, but I was taking weeks off from work, so I was using my holidays, working Saturdays and Sundays, basically having no life with family. I got 3 months worth of work booked in, and I just decided to make the plunge. Approached, because I used to work for the council like Stevie did. I approached the council. I told them I was going to have my notice in. Basically, they were really, really good with me. They said if it doesn't work out, you can come back. So that was my fail safe. I've never looked back. Just spiraled from there to where we are now. I started off with a little van. Yeah. And what keeps me motivated? What keeps me motivated is I'm not so much doing it for money. I'm doing it to better my family's life. I'm a lot about family. Family's not blood as well. It's actually the team who works with us. So D&J family, and I'm doing it so everyone can better themselves as well. So we build the company up. In turn, the wages get better. We produce a lot more. We get bigger contracts, and in turn, we can look after every member of our staff. So that's what keeps me motivated, and I love my job, and I strive at challenges. So yeah, that's what keeps me motivated, and I hope you guys do as well. So yeah, I just love getting out and doing it, you know what I mean, and building and getting better and better and better and building the D&J brand. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Aaron Oppler, question for Stevie. How tall is Stevie? He looks taller than 6 foot.
That'll be because I am taller than 6 foot. I'm actually 6 foot 2 inches. So I believe anyway, that was the last time that I measured myself in height. I believe I'm still 6 foot 2. Maybe sometime this week or in the future, we'll get the tape measure out and we'll see how tall I am. But I think I'm 6 foot 2 inches.
If he makes any more mistakes, I'll knock him down a few pegs. So
You know, I might be 5 foot soon.
But yeah, that's a good question. And the second question is, how old was Dave on Sunday? Come on, guys. You know, I'm not going to tell you my age.
You've got to keep guessing,
Just
guys.
keep on guessing.
I'm 28. How old is my dad?
So yeah, keep on guessing, guys. Yeah, it wasn't a big one. It wasn't a big one. So yeah, that's a bit of a hint. So we're coming on to the last question, guys. And I'm going to choose this one out of comments. There's only a couple more. Really apologise if your question didn't get answered, but you've got to bear with us. We have got to work as well, so we're trying to bring you
There
this.
will be other Q&As as well, though,
Yeah,
guys.
definitely,
If
definitely.
you like this one and you've enjoyed this video so far, give us a like, because then that shows us that you guys have enjoyed it, and we'll plan to do another one when we've got a little bit more time to answer more and all of the questions.
This question is from Have a Go Repair Hero.
Okay.
So yeah, the crazy name again, but yeah, I like it. His question is, isn't it about time you changed the company name to D&S unless J contributes still, as I feel S deserves recognition? So yes, 100%, Stevie does deserve that, but Stevie isn't my only child. So answer your question, it won't be changed from the J. No, J doesn't contribute one bit to this. I've kept the J because at the end of the day it was family, there was no bad blood there, like I've explained before. And now we just say juniors, so it's Dave and Junior, so every one of them is on there. So
We're all juniors.
Yeah.
We're all a part of this, guys.
Yeah, so it's not going to be changed from the J. It's established. It's D&J Projects. It always will be D&J Projects.
And in all honesty, guys, if it was to ever change the name, I wouldn't want it to be D&S Projects. In God's honest truth, I would want it to be D&B Projects, because trust me when I say, and my dad will agree, my mum's put a hell of a lot more than I have into this company. And I've only been here 6 months. My mum's been here from 7-8 years. Think of all of the time that my mum had to put up with my dad doing late nights, working 7 days a week. I would want the company to be D&B Projects. And say in 10, 15, 20 years times, whenever my dad decides to hang up his boots from this company, I still want my mum and dad's legacy to carry on into the D&J Projects team. So if it was ever to change, it would be D&B Projects. That's my opinion. Hopefully my dad likes that idea as well. My mum seriously puts a lot into this as well. Say my mum, Maury and all of the lads, they all put a lot into it. But if it was to ever change the name, D&B Projects, I think that would be the way to go. I'm just another cog in this machine. And yes, you guys see me on YouTube, but trust me when I say there's a lot of guys and girls behind the scenes that keep this shit going along.
And he's absolutely right. I mean, when we do bring the video out how I started and that, you'll realise, but Bernie, my wife, when I first kicked off, she did support me a hell of a lot. She carried on working. What you see now isn't what it was. Yeah, there was a lot of hard work at the beginning. Yeah, a lot of late nights.
We don't get many comments like this, guys, but obviously we see them sometimes, that people think that it's like, you're fed from a silver spoon, it's all come easy, you was given a golden handshake. There's been sacrifices left, right and centre for this business to be where it is now. Like my dad says, one day he'll explain the story, and it may be one day soon, but that story will be told. And it's been bloody hard work, guys. Trust me when I say it's been hard work for my dad, for my mum, for me when I've joined. It's been hard work for a lot of people to get this company from where it was to 8 years later to where we are now. Trust me, guys, it's been hard work, but we will tell that story eventually.
We will. And I hope you guys stick around for that, because yeah, it'll be a good one, and I won't hide anything. And I'll tell you some of the breaks I had, and I hope it helps a lot of entrepreneurs and business people to help them grow as well, because I'm out to help people. I am out to help people. We do get a lot of comments to help you. I'd love to help every single one of you, but it's not possible. No. All right, so
if we can ever help on these videos though, with tips and tricks and stuff like that,
we will.
And not just to do with work. If it's tips and tricks or tips on life and stuff like that, of course we will help. Not to say that we've got it down to a T, because we still mess up. Of course we do. We're human. But if we can ever help in anything that we do, we always will.
Some of us mess up more than others.
He does indeed.
So yeah, guys, I hope you like these Q&A.
Yes.
We're going to leave it here because we're going to crack on with this job, because the sun is beating down on us, and it is really hot, and I'm sweating. I don't know about you.
I'm sweating, and I've got to get a haircut, guys. I have got to get a haircut today. I've got to keep looking fresh for these YouTube videos.
But if you do want to catch up with us in the week, Stevie's always on Instagram, putting up and daily blogs. Like the Facebook page if you haven't already, because our socials, they help us out. And if you want to see bits of stuff what we do, like deliveries and everything else, catch up in the week with us. And we always try and answer all the comments. But yeah, as for now, we're going to leave you here. Anything to say, Stevie?
No, we just appreciate you guys being here. If you're still watching this video, I know it's a seriously long one of just me and my dad sitting in this customer's garden, enjoying a little bit of sun and answering your crazy questions. If you're still here, we very much appreciate you guys being here. It does mean a lot to us.
And thank you very much for being here. And don't forget, 1,000 likes.
1,000 likes.
See you later, guys.
Peace. Peace.